Good morning. Happy Saturday. Today I wanted to swing by with my lovely Saturday hair, no makeup day, my day off shirt on, just relaxing at home. And I wanted to talk to you about the grinder I just bought. So I wanted to just do a little review on it. I bought the OXO burr grinder with the integrated scale, and I still haven't decided about it. But I wanted to talk to you about it, and you can form your own opinion and tell you the pros and cons, why I like it, why I might not. And so I recently bought this because I had a espresso only grinder, and then I purchased the Breville espresso machine that has the grinder already built in. So I wanted something that was more for coffee, everyday coffee. And this has got the little container to catch the grounds instead of having to use a portafilter. So I figured this would be easier for me. And what I really love about it is that the scale is it grinds just the amount of coffee that you want for your brewing method. And I brew different stuff every day in different amounts of coffee, and so I usually use scoops, which this is just easy. I like doing scoops because you just know that it's 1 scoop per 6 ounces of water. But this is kind of taking it a step further and, a little more professional, I guess. The one thing I noticed about the OXO burr grinder with integrated scale was the grinds, it seems like it's really coarse. So I had to go all the way down to get a good grind for my Bodum pour over, which I really like because of the mesh filter. I don't really like paper filters. But I had to go almost down to where it was in the espresso range. And so I felt like this grinder grinds on the coarse side, which is fine as long as it has the available options for your brewing method. I've got an espresso grinder, so I don't really need espresso grind, but it can do it. You just have to get it down really low. So I will grind some coffee, show you how it works, and give you my opinion. So the best way to get a consistent cup of coffee in the morning is to always to track your grind. I guess I should say to learn which grind works for your coffee brewing method. Does that make sense? So I made these really cool cards, and it's called Grind Like a Boss. And so there's different grinds that you're supposed to use for different brewing methods. And I've kind of given you an idea of the brewing method and what the grind would actually look like, and gave you a place to set your grinds on the card to compare it with the proper grinds. And then over in this column, you write down what your grinder setting is, so that every time you go to brew it in that method, let's say it's the Bodum pour over, I've discovered with the OXO that I like, because I wrote it down each time and figured out if it tasted good or if it was a little bitter, under extracted, over extracted. So I wrote down which grind I like for that method. And for this grinder with my Bodum Santos mesh pour over, I like the 4.5 to 5 for the medium on this grinder. So I write that down, 4.5 to 5, depending on the coffee. I write it down in my little space. Whereas my older grinder, for that, I had to put it at a 14. So every grinder is going to be different. So if you're asking somebody, well, what setting do I set my grinder at when I want to make a pot of drip coffee? Well, no one can really tell you that. You have to when you buy a new grinder, you just kind of have to figure it out. So without further ado, I'm going to grind some breakfast blends. And basically, I'm just going to pour the coffee in there. Can you see that? Okay. Pour the coffee in there. And let's say I'm going to brew some 24 ounces of coffee in my bottom pour over. Well, if you look at the proper coffee to water ratio, I want to brew 2 cups, 2 12-ounce cups. That's 24 ounces, 2 mugs. And so I would look at here, and I'd go to 24 ounces on the chart, and that means I need 43 grams of coffee. Or, I can't see, I need my glasses. There we go, so much better. Yes, I'm old, but whatever. So 24 ounces of water, you use 8 tablespoons or about a half a cup, but the best, or 1.5 ounces by weight. Now, however, the best way to measure your coffee for your brewing method is by weight. Now, I love scoops. I use scoops all the time. They're easy. You can just count. You know how many ounces are in your brewing method. So I would use 8 tablespoons, which is 4 2-tablespoon scoops. My favorite way to do it. Until I got the scale. So knowing that, it says 43. I'm going to go 44 just because I like the 11 grams per 6 ounces of water. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 4 scoops, 44 grams. And this makes it really easy on your grind chart to just figure out how many scoops you need. That's why I made them. I actually use it all the time because I change my brewing methods like every day. So I pull it out and check it out. All right, so I got 44 grams. I think I have enough beans in there for 44 grams. All right, let me show you what I've done here. Let me pull this camera over here. So all I did was put the beans in the top. I set set this little dial to 44. Now, sometimes this little dial will do weird things. Like if I take the canister out like this, no coffee in there, it'll have a little nothing on there. And I put the canister back and it resets to 0. Now, sometimes it won't show 0. And how you would reset it and basically tear your scale is by pushing this button and holding it down. You can also choose the grams or, okay, so it's reset to 0. But if you notice, you can also choose grams, how many cups you want, and if you are doing espresso, I haven't looked at that one. So if you want to say, I'm going to brew 12 cups, it'll grind the amount of coffee for 12 cups. So you look at your coffee pot, and it'll have a line, 8, 12 cups on there. You just set it to that. So grind, I like grams because it's more precise. So I'll set this to 44. And I mean, if it's easy, so why not do it properly if you have something that's going to do it properly? Leave the canister. Oh, I reset it again. I moved the base, the container, and the scale is down here. The one thing that I'm going to say about this grinder is it's really messy. So I don't know if you can see, but I've got like grounds. Sorry. I've got grounds everywhere on this thing. It drives me a little crazy. So set that on there, set that on there. It also has this setting on the front that says you can make it stronger or weaker, but really all it does is it changes the amount of coffee it grinds. So it's kind of silly to me. And why is this not at 0? See, it's not at 0. I don't know why, but you can see that. I'm gonna tear the scale by holding this down, and it goes 3, 2, 1, tear. Okay, and I'll set you back over here and grind it because it's loud. Okay, so 44, 44, 2, 3, 4. And then I just push this button on the top. But let me tell you what it's doing too. It's getting coffee everywhere. Smells good. And it counts up. 44. At 44, it stops, which is great. But if you see this, there's just kind of a mess everywhere, and it's all over the counter. And that's the biggest negative I have on this grinder, is that it's really messy. I mean, my other grinder didn't do that. So I've got 44 grams of coffee, and if you just take the lid off, I'll just do it. It's gonna be messy. It kind of goes everywhere. So what I do, I leave the lid on and I shake it down. Sorry, I'm just a mess today. I shake it down, and I've set my grind to where I like it because I've tested it, written it down, and figured it out. And the thing is, you don't have to scoop anymore. You already know you have the right amount of coffee. You just pour it into your brewing method, whether that's your coffee maker or your pour over or whatnot. So you're all set. That's pretty easy. But like I said, the biggest negative to me on this product is that it grinds really coarse, and I'm not sure how consistent it is. I haven't had bitter coffee unless I ground it wrong, but it's messy. And so, but I like how it's easy to use, and I like that the hopper's really large. You can put a lot of coffee in there if you need to. I don't like how fast it grinds. It grinds really, really, really fast. Really fast. And that kind of makes me, like some of the other grinders, they all grind on the slower side, so that will create less friction, which might be why there's so much mess here. It creates less friction, and this could heat the beans up. I don't know, I'm not saying it does, but typically it just seems like it grinds so fast, which, you know, maybe that's great. So that's my review of the OXO burr grinder. And get your grind charts and your water to coffee ratio charts. Let me know if you'd like one. I'll send one to you. Also, you'll get them if you sign up for our Coffee of the Month subscription club. If you like this video, please like it, share it, make a comment, and let me know how I can improve. And stop by beanhoppers.com and check us out. Have a great day. Bye.